Hello, beautiful people out there. If you are in need of some hope and comfort, I think today's episode is for you. Okay, so the other day I was watching the Cinderella live action remake with Lily James. If you haven't watched it or you haven't watched it recently, it is so beautiful and so good. I recommend it a million times over. Please go watch it. And it was a day that I was struggling to find hope. And those are often the days that I lean into like a comfort movie if I'm able to. I have chronic illnesses that can prevent me from screen time sometimes too. So depends on the day. But on that day, I was able to tolerate it. And it was such a beautiful thing to watch from the lens of someone who was struggling to find hope. Because the story of Cinderella, and many fairy tales for that matter, are chock full of hope in dire circumstances. I mean, we look at Cinderella, we all know this story. It's been remade in a million ways. She was enslaved with no way out, neglected, malnourished, abused, honestly. She had no reason to believe this torture would end. She was just stuck in this situation. So even though she didn't actually have any reason to be hopeful, nothing to cling on to, she kept hope. She carried herself with grace. She put kindness at the forefront of everything. And she kept a sense of whimsy and wonder alive, making friends with the mice, singing songs with birds, tossing chicken food to the chickens as though she was dancing, making clothes for the little mice, allowing herself to have creative hobbies, and tying her hair with a beautiful blue ribbon every day. Though it would surely be tattered and ragged by the end of the day, she did that little thing for herself. With all of those little creative side quests and friendships with animals, she was doing what she needed to survive, which was finding small moments of joy where she could. That personally has been my way to survive hardship, to survive chronic illness that beats me down every single day, is finding the little things that bring me joy now. Of course, I try to hold on to hope that I might get better and that life might look very different from this and that I might become more independent and I might not have so much pain and ailment and impairment. I push for hope for the future, but I also really fight for those little small joys now because this could be forever. That's the scary thing about any situation that you're losing hope in, is that it could be forever. That might feel very hopeless to hear, but that also gives you a bit of agency to be like, okay, so if this is my life, is there anywhere I can find joy now? Through this, during this, not on the other side, but right now through it. I think that is equally as important as trying to get on the other side of it. I think that all goes along with acceptance, which I should probably do a whole other episode on because boy, did I ever struggle with acceptance. Still do sometimes, honestly, but it's hard to accept like diagnoses at a young age where it's like it could be managed or it could be for life, by the way. We don't really know. It felt like if I accepted it, then I was closing the door to recovery. And I was saying, I'm okay with this, but I'm not okay with it. I'm going to fight. It feels like brave to not accept that. But what I've learned is that reaching acceptance is not closing the door to your way out of this. Acceptance is accepting this is my current situation. What am I going to do during this situation to care for myself, to love myself, to get through it, to hopefully get on the other side of it, but also make the best of the current situation that I'm in. And you can't really do that if you don't accept what the situation is. What are you going to do regardless of the symptoms, regardless of the situation, regardless of not having a tangible thing to hold on to for hope? What are we going to do during the now that is still making life worth living? I don't think I have a very good podcast voice. It feels very gravelly, so I'm sorry. And now I want to share with you the quote for this episode, which is, "What exactly do you think fairy tales are? They are a reminder that our lives will get better if we just hold on to hope." It's so good. This is a quote from Mary Margaret in Once Upon a Time, if you've ever watched it. I'm currently watching it. It's kind of beautiful. It's like a recreation of all these different fairy tales on Disney. They're always facing big adversities and there's always big speeches about hope. But yeah, I think that is such a beautiful quote that really like touched my heart when she said it. And I think it just felt very validating that it was like, oh yeah, that's why the Disney princess movies are so comforting. Because they are beautiful stories of hope. I'm sure I could make an episode about each one. Though Cinderella is probably my favorite. I do love Beauty and the Beast though. I think that all those Disney princesses are beautiful examples of overcoming hardship and finding ways to whistle while you work and find contentment and find connection and community and tiny pieces of joy while you're going through the hard stuff. It's so beautiful. You know, I used to be less unapologetic about my love for fairy tales and princess remakes and all of that. I remember a friend of mine saying, like, careful, Julia, you're awfully close to sounding like a Disney adult, and that's like super cringe and millennial. And at the time I was like, oh, shoot, you're right. Like, I need to dial it back. And so I dialed it back. You know, I was like scared of being seen in that way. Now, as I feel like I've healed a lot of parts of myself and become truer to myself and come home to myself more, I'm like, oh, sure. You can call me a Disney adult. I think there's much worse things that a person could be called in this world. Like, I am grown, but growing up doesn't mean you have to never be able to return to the magic that made you feel optimistic as a child, and now that magic that makes you feel nostalgic as an adult and reignites that sense of optimism. I refuse to give up my whimsy just because people might judge it. That's why I'm wearing a bonnet now, because it's comfortable, it's cute, I feel cozy, and yes, some people might think me to be a grandma, some people might think me to be weird. You can think whatever you want. If you don't understand it, that's fine. I'm just gonna do me because it's not hurting anyone. And I think a lot of Disney princesses were very unapologetic about being weird and being the odd one out. And I think that that's another lesson that we can take from them. You know, like Belle was reading when everyone else wasn't. And it was like, everyone's calling her this weird girl around town. Cinderella's making friends with mice and singing songs and getting cinder ashes on her face because she went close to the fire to stay warm. I think we need more of that in life. I think we need more of that in this world, of just being you and doing what sparks joy. Those things aren't hurting anyone. And people will probably judge you for it, but that doesn't mean it's wrong, and it doesn't mean what they're saying is right. So, I have some homework for you, as I always will. What's something that you want to do just for joy today that might bring you a tiny little ounce of contentment, something that maybe ignites some childlike optimism? What is something that you can do just for you, just for those reasons, for joy, for optimism, for whimsy? What's one thing you can do, whether it's totally alone in your apartment, whether there's people around? Can you dance? Can you listen to a old song that used to bring you comfort? Can you go sit barefoot in the grass and count how many little daisies or buttercups or little tiny wildflowers there are around you? Can you make a little bouquet with those wildflowers? Maybe it's raining, maybe it's cold, maybe you can catch those raindrops on your tongue. Just do something, please, for you, for joy, for contentment, not having a productive purpose. This could be your whole night's plan. This could be just a fleeting moment, but please do something for you. And I think that's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you for listening. I hope it wasn't too cringe. And if it was, this might not be the podcast for you, and that's okay. But I'm going to keep doing me. I'm going to make this space very me. And I hope you keep getting closer to knowing what you and your space and who you truly are. I'm so glad you're here. this was fun. Maybe I'll watch another Disney Princess remake now. Okay, bye guys.